Okay, so one of the things that you once in a while want to do, for me it's like once a year or something, is set up a double-sided shader. So I have this I have this little animation of this candy bar opening up, and when it unpeels itself, it says optimistically, there we go. When it unpeels itself, I want to have a different color on the inside than on the outside, right? But I don't want to have a second set of geometry there. I just want this to have a color on one side and another color on the other side. So how to do that? It's a little tricky, but it's not so bad. Yeah, don't save. Okay, so I'm just going to take a NURBS plane, just so it's nice and simple for us. Okay, and I will take a pop to the hypershade. Okay, we can get rid of that now. All right, so I'll do I'll just toss a blend onto here, or maybe a Lambert. Just keep it real basic. Okay, and so I'm just going to map into the color, let's say a ramp for argument's sake. Bring that up in hardware. Okay, and get a render of it. Oops. Okay, so there we have our render of the one side, and the other side's still the same. Okay, so good, we have that there. I'm now going to grab a checker, so 2D texture node checker. Nice and easy so we can see the two sides. Then in the utilities, I will grab a thing called a condition node. Okay, so the condition node is pretty useful. I'll break that connection from the ramp, and let's take the condition node and drop it into the color attribute there. Okay, what specifically we did is we linked up the out color to the Lambert number 2's color attribute. Alright, so the out color is now going to drive that. Alright, so what is the out color? Well, if it's if this equation is true, then it's going to do black. If it is false, it's going to do white. Okay, so now it's white over there. All right, let me just reposition this over here so it then renders sort of in the corner. All right, so that's pretty darn cool. All right, so we'll just take the ramp and middle mouse button and drop it into the true, and we'll take the checker and put it into the other guy. Okay, so now at the moment they're both sides of this guy are set up so they're the checker. Okay, because it's happening on the whole model. Okay, so we're going to need to go back to our utilities, and we're just going to find a thing called the sampler info node. It's one of my favorite little things to play with here. So, sampler info node. So we have the sampler info node, and I middle mouse button and drop it on the condition and hit the other. Okay, or the short version of that is you hold down shift, middle mouse button, and it brings up the connection editor. So here in the connection editor, let's get that so you can see it. What we're going to do is we're going to connect up the flipped normal. So that's really just says, hey, if I'm on one side of the surface, surface normal number 1. If I'm on the other side, I'm surface normal number 2. So the secondary and primary surface normals. And so I'm just going to toss that into the first term. Okay, so now if I look at the connection editor, that is coming into the first term here. So I render this, and as you see, the checker is there. I then flip it around to the other side. It doesn't do, it's not, the hardware shader's not up for it. and then I look at the backside, and as you see, I get the ramp. All right, so here's this side again, and ta-da, there's the checker. So, just a little quick post-mortem on this is we have our material node, we have our sampler info node, which checks at time of render what's going on. We take the flipped normal, we put in the first term, and we say, hey, if these guys are not equal, so when it's on one side of the surface, it returns a 0, and they're equal, and it does the false, okay, which is our ramp. And if it returns a 1, it's not equal, then the statement's true, and it returns this guy, which we mapped with our checker. All right, so your options here are equal, greater than or equal, less than, and less than or equal. So those are the equations that you can do, and that's how you do a double-sided shader. There's also other little uses you can find for that condition node. For those of you who weren't totally asleep in programming class, it's basically just an if statement. Okay, hope that helps. Have fun.